Good morning. It is 7:49 a.m. on Monday, March 23rd, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, over there, that's Rocket. He's playing with a new toy. He's got a variety of new chewy things because I made an emergency trip to the grocery store yesterday and bought like 10 different kinds of chewy things because this little monster is, I believe, starting to enter the teething phase and just wants to chew on everything, but not some of his chew toys. And so deciding what he'll like and what he won't just eat in 10 seconds and get a tummy ache is a little bit of a challenge. So I got lots of different kinds. Um, the little white thing you see there is actually the cup from a instant macaroni cheese. He really likes that one. Anyway, yesterday Mike and I recorded our latest episode of Talking About Survivor, and that's posted now in both video and audio. So if you're into Survivor, you can check that out. I also yesterday found myself. What are you doing, buddy? You've got 100 different things, and you have to get whichever one you don't have access to at any given moment. This one? You want that one? All right. Okay. He thought he wanted it, but now ennui. So yesterday I was feeling in kind of a horror movie mode or mood, and so I checked out a couple of horror movies. The first that I watched was a movie I only just heard about on Polygon from a review there, but it's on Netflix. It's a Spanish film, not merely in Spanish, but from Spain. And it is a horror movie with, if people have ever seen Cube, that's probably the closest analog. The idea is that we've got these people who are trapped in a somewhat fantastical, sort of strange prison setup, where I say fantastical just in the sense that what we're seeing happen is clearly impossible in the real world, but, the characters have to deal with it nonetheless. So the platform is named for, so we begin with these two prisoners in a prison cell. It's like a big concrete cube, a hollow inside, right, that they're in. And they have beds. There's a little sink and toilet thing. And there's a big hole, like 15 feet by 15 feet in the middle of their cell. And if you look down over the hole, you can see that below you is an identical cell, and below that another one, and so on. As far as you can see, same upward. So that's scary, right? Already fantastical. But the way you get fed in this prison is that there's this platform that starts at level 1 with this amazing, gorgeous, immaculate feast. Tons of food and fancy food and just incredible feast. And it stops on level 1 for a little bit, like a minute maybe. And the people who are there on level 1 grab everything they can and just gorge themselves. And then the platform descends to level 2. And on level 2, same deal, right? But the thing is, as it proceeds down each level gets only what's left behind by the levels above them. And so it becomes a fairly on-the-nose sort of class metaphor, right? But mixing it up a little is that in this prison, every month, all the prisoners get gassed unconscious and wake up on a new level, seemingly randomly assigned. So you might be on level 48 this time and get, it's a little gross basically because it's all been picked over, but there's food, versus level 15 where there's actually quite a lot of good stuff left, versus level 171, where probably not really anything left. And so that's the basic premise. It goes some really clever places from there. What I will warn you all though, rocket off, rocket. There we go. Good boy, good boy. Um, what I will warn everyone though is that one is that's a horror movie. It's got lots of gore and gross out and all of that sort of stuff, and some of it is pretty intense. Whatever your particular squick buttons are, this movie probably does a little bit with it at least. So just warning for any of you who you know might be intrigued by the premise but get squeamish with that stuff. So because it's pretty intense in that regard. The other movie I watched was The Hunt, which was kind of a controversial movie. Its release was delayed because the premise of it is that a bunch of liberal elites have kidnapped a bunch of redneck folks to hunt for sport. And obviously it's kind of a rocket. No. One moment. Rocket. No. That's not loud. No. Sorry, he had used the couch to climb on top of the coffee table. Not allowed. You don't have enough things, Rocket? No, Rocket, off. I think I left a spoon on the table there that maybe has the tiniest little lingering smell of ice cream on it. So The Hunt. Obviously, it's sort of it's a it's a firebrand sort of movie, right? It's really putting it out there politically, which is of course why it got its release delayed. But now, due to it was going to be released in theaters, but because of everything going on, they did home release. And here's what I'll tell you guys about it. It's actually pretty good. It's a lot of fun as like a thriller. It has violence, a lot of it depicted like in the sort of horror thriller sort of vein, but it's pretty cartoony, all things considered, and it's very silly in places, but in a fun way. What I'll say though is the satire of it is probably not quite what you think. I don't want to say it's like both sidesism, except that what it really is kind of looking for is like what it's really targeting ultimately is not the left or the right, but hypocrisy and judging people based on where they're from rather than who they are, and that includes geographically and also demographically. But yeah, so it's pretty good. I actually recommend it. I mean, I feel like if you saw the trailer and you said, maybe, I think you might give it a chance. I think you might like it. I did. I think it's almost unfortunate that it came out in an era where things are so politically divided, because even though it's about that, it kind of can't help but attach a layer of weightiness to it that it really wasn't actually trying to take on. Anyway, I liked it. So I'll leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.